Eamonn Holmes didn't hold back on his morning show, taking aim at the BBC and Channel 4 for their dramatic portrayal of recent foreign aid cuts. Eamonn Holmes expressed his frustration with the BBC and Channel 4 during his regular morning program on GB News, where co-host Ellie Costello joined him. The seasoned journalist lambasted the two broadcasters for their handling of the recent news surrounding Keir Starmer's cuts to foreign aid. Holmes accused them of exaggerating the situation to an alarming extent, suggesting that their coverage made it seem as though the situation signified a catastrophic turning point for the world. He said, "The Prime Minister announced plans to cut foreign aid by £6 million. I must admit that yesterday while watching the news coverage on this, I honestly had to smile because the BBC and Channel 4 were particularly hand-wringing about everything. I take the view that this is our country and our money. It's up to us to do what we want with it. If we want to spend it on foreign aid, fine, no one asked me to spend money on foreign aid, they just did it." Eamonn continued, "So nobody has had a say on where this money goes, but Channel 4 and BBC are wringing their hands about the whole thing. There's only so much we can do. We have got people sleeping on the streets, people starving, people who can't pay their heating bill, and we are complaining about everything else that's going on in the world." He finished, "We cannot solve the world's problems, so why are we trying?" In a striking declaration, Keir Starmer has outlined a bold vision for Britain's role in ensuring stability across Europe, emphasizing a commitment to fight for peace in Europe. This vision will be supported by a significant overhaul of the nation's defense financing, marking the most substantial increase in military spending since the conclusion of the Cold War. Under the proposed plan, defense spending is set to rise to 2.5% of the United Kingdom's gross domestic product, GDP, by 2027, accelerating the timeline by 3 years compared to prior commitments. Furthermore, Starmer has expressed a long-term ambition to elevate defense spending to 3% of GDP, highlighting a strategic pivot towards prioritizing national security. The government plans to implement substantial cuts to the foreign aid budget to fund this increased military investment. This decision has sparked discussions about the implications for international assistance programs. It comes just days before the Prime Minister is due to meet Donald Trump, and has raised immediate concerns that he was pandering to the U.S. President and fury from aid groups that say it could cost lives in countries that rely on UK support. David Lammy, the Foreign Secretary, said earlier this month that the U.S. plan could be a big strategic mistake that would allow China to step into the gap and extend its global influence.